2024 has already given us some pretty incredible cozy games, some of which have been so good they've even made it to my top 10 cozy games list. But 2024 isn't over yet, and today we're going to go over every single cozy game left to come this year. And trust me, there's some pretty incredible cozy games on this list. First up is Petit Island, coming November 14th. Now this really caught my eye because it gives Animal Crossing vibes, but actually has an entire story. As in this, you get to play as Lily, who spent her childhood listening to her grandpa's stories all about his adventures of exploring islands far away from the big city. But unfortunately, as he grows older, his memory begins to fail him. And although he can't remember all of his journeys, his journal remembers it all. So Lily sets off in hopes to relive his journey and hopefully make some memories of her own. Seeing her do anything from visiting villages and cities, finding hidden treasure and wild animals, to even meeting the locals and the tourists. And as you go, you'll get to capture images from each of the nostalgic spots from Grandpa's journal, all in the hopes of rejigging his memory. Honestly, any game where I get to play as a cat, I am instantly sold. Just one note though, although we have seen some PC gameplay, I have no idea how this plays and handles on the Nintendo Switch, so get excited with caution. Next up, we have Lego Horizons on November 14th. I still can't fully believe that this game is coming to the Nintendo Switch, but it is, and I can't wait to check it out. Now, I'm going to be honest, Lego games in general historically haven't been my favorite, but seeing as I've been enjoying the mainline Horizon games, I'm gonna give this a go. Now, originally, I thought this was just a remake of the first game, but just, you know, Lego-ified. But it turns out I was completely wrong. This is a story where Aloy leads a colourful crew of heroes on a quest to save the meadows, forests, and mountains of Earth from a man called Helis. And unlike the original games, this is one you can either enjoy solo or play it with friends. Now, last month when I was at EGX, I got to see a tiny bit of gameplay on the PlayStation 5, and it does look to be absolutely beautiful, but I'll be really interested to see how this plays on the Nintendo Switch. Then we have Miniatures on November 14th, and this truly looks to be a unique game, as this is a collection of 4 strange tales where childhood imagination and reality meet. And this is said to be a thought-provoking exploration all about nostalgia and mystery. And we'll see you do anything from exploring the vast seascapes, building odd furniture, to playing with sandcastles. Just a note though, on Steam they say the game in its entirety will only last around 45 minutes. So it's up to you as to whether you see it being worth your money or not, but this kind of gives me Coraline vibes. I'm slightly unsettled, but very intrigued. Then on November 19th, we have the My Sims Cozy Bundle. Now, I definitely felt like I missed out by not playing the originals of this, because when this was announced in the Nintendo Direct, people went absolutely wild for it. So I'm so excited to finally get what all the hype is about. So the My Sims Cozy Bundle includes My Sims and My Sims Kingdom. And this will see you rebuild the rundown town in an attempt to get more people to move there. Now, do be warned though, this game is not a remaster nor a remake. It looks to be a direct port of the original game onto the Nintendo Switch. So far, there's not a whole lot of trailer footage for this to really see how the game looks. We do get a few screenshots here and there to kind of piece together that this will most definitely look a little bit retro, I think is the best way to say it. But this does mean that if you're a lover of the originals, it should be staying very true to that. Next up, we have On Your Tail, which is out November 21st. Now, the great thing about this is there's actually a demo both on Steam and Nintendo Switch, so you can go and play that and really decide if the game's for you. But this is a game I am genuinely looking forward to, as although the trailer didn't really appeal to me all that much, I actually really enjoyed the demo. In this, you play as Diana, an amateur writer who set off in need of inspiration in the sunny and tranquillic Borgo Marina. But her work trip is cut short when a mysterious thief runs amok, and it becomes her job to find clues and investigate to figure out who's behind this. And although I had a lot of fun exploring the beautiful town and talking to the locals, it was really the puzzles and piecing all the clues together that I had the most fun with. As this mixes together elements of spotting the difference, where you have to go around each room and find the clues, with a really unique card-based system to piece these clues together and find out what really happened. This is a game unlike any I've played before, and I think that's why I'm so excited for it. Then on November 21st, we have Amber Isle. Now, I've already played a bit of this on the PC when that launched over a month ago, and although the game itself is relatively simple, the dialogue is pretty surface level and the quests themselves don't have all that much difficulty to them. It's still a pretty fun game if that's what you're looking for. Now, the game starts you off with being able to make your very own dinosaur, and this has to be some of the most fun I've ever had with a character creation. And once you've finally decided what your dinosaur is going to look like, you get to start the game by setting off in a hot air balloon to begin your adventure. The only issue is, not long into your journey, you wind up falling out of the hot air balloon and onto a shop, destroying it. And of course, the person who comes to check on you is actually the town's mayor. And he decides the only way for you to work off your debt is to fix up the store and run it yourself. And your days consist of going out and collecting resources, crafting different things to put on sale in your store, and then haggling with customers to try and get the best price for each of your items. And over time, not only will your debt grow smaller, but you also find brand new people start to move into the town, bringing it back to its former glory. Now, although I am excited for the Switch release, I'm also a little bit nervous. It has already been delayed once in order to make the Switch port as good as it can be, so I guess we're just gonna have to wait and see. Then on November 26th, we have Critter Cafe. Now, this really caught my eye as it's a mix of some of my favorite game styles all in one. You see, Critter Cafe isn't just a normal cafe management game. And although it starts as you would expect, with you moving to a brand new town, making new friends, and getting ready to serve your very first customers, it's not long before you notice the strange appearance of portals. And this portal not only leads to a brand new world, but also houses a long-lost critter inside. And although getting to these creatures isn't always easy, and it will see you need to solve puzzles in order to make your way over them, the creature itself is absolutely adorable and makes it worthwhile. And this means that Critter Cafe isn't just a cafe management game, because although you do have the cooking mini games, serving customers, and even being able to decorate, you also have this whole other side of the game that involves not only saving these adorable creatures, but also the ability to care for them when you bring them home as well. Now, I've already played a little bit of this on PC and had an absolute blast, but I haven't seen it on the Nintendo Switch yet, so I guess we're gonna have to wait till launch to see a little bit more of that. But either way, I'm really excited to get my hands on it. Next up, we have 30 Birds, which is coming out November 28th. Now, this is actually one of the games that really caught my eye when I went to Gamescom, and I was lucky enough to already get to play a little bit of this on the Nintendo Switch, and this might be one of the games I am the most excited for in the whole of November, as this is a unique take on a narrative puzzle game, as the entire story takes place on the surface of a rotating lantern that you're free to explore. The story itself sees you play as Zig, a detective on the hunt for an international criminal known as the Scientist. But right when Zig feels like they're getting close to figuring out who the Scientist is, the city's goddess is kidnapped, and all that's left is the Scientist's calling card in the sky. So it becomes your job to try and save her in time, all the while solving puzzles and befriending those you meet along the way. I have absolutely fallen in love with this art style and how it's inspired by not only Persian art, but also the mythology as well. This just felt like such a breath of fresh air in the cozy game space, and it ran pretty well on the Nintendo Switch when I got to play it there, so I have high hopes for its release. Next, we have Pixelshire. Maybe. Now, they have released on Twitter that they're hoping to release sometime late 2024, but so far we have no exact date. So fingers crossed, as this is something I'm pretty excited for. This is a unique RPG sandbox all about exploration, town building, and combat. The game starts you off by being washed up on Arcadia, a vast continent filled with enchanted landscapes and hidden treasure. And naturally, after being washed up there, you decide to start a brand new life. But not only can you do your usual farming sim things, like befriending locals, cooking, animal care, forestry, and so much more, you're also in charge of helping build up the town. And this will see you help place buildings and homes for the community. You can also decorate and terraform, all whilst taking into account the townspeople's preferences. And the friends you make along the way can actually be brought with you on your adventures. And although this has a lot of elements that we already know and love, it looks different enough that I'm excited about it. I just hope we get a release date soon, as it's been on my radar for what feels like so long. Next up is Disney Dreamlight Valley. Last week was the Disney Dreamlight Valley showcase, and in this not only did we get news about the free updates, but we also got the announcement of a brand new paid DLC coming this November. Now, some of the free updates is actually already available right now, as this will see you return to the Lion King realm and let you invite Timon and Pumbaa to your town. There's also a brand new star path that's just launched. They've also collaborated with Loungefly for a limited time event. Then on December 4th, you'll be able to invite Sally from The Nightmare Before Christmas into your game as well for the free Christmas update. Then we have the paid DLC, which will be launching on November 20th. Now, this expansion pass works very similar to the last one in that this gives you a brand new area to explore, which is called the Vale. And alongside the brand new story and 3 different biomes that you have to explore, there'll also be a host of new characters. This includes Hades, Flynn Rider, Merida, and 2 additional characters, which look to be Aurora and Maleficent. Now, if you are already a lover of Disney Dreamlight Valley, then this is pretty exciting. These are definitely some fan favorite characters that are coming into the game, and if it's anything like the last DLC, it should give you a pretty sizable amount of content. My only personal hope is that they change up the gameplay mechanic just a little bit with this DLC, as much as I love Disney Dreamlight Valley, it started to get a little bit too repetitive for me. But either way, if you're a big fan of the game, this is a massive update. Next up, let's talk about Tavern Talk, as I only just found out that this got a brand new DLC as of today. And the story itself takes place a year and a half after the events of Tavern Talk, where a young detective, Melina, finds a mysterious mechanism and breaks it, accidentally unleashing the chaotic spirit trapped inside. The DLC itself will have 3 hours of new content, a brand new recipe and infusion, a new character, branching narratives, and multiple endings. As you guys know, I adore Tavern Talk, and I'm so glad they're adding a little bit extra to the story. I cannot wait to get my hands on this. Next up, let's talk about Infinity Nikki. Now, although this isn't coming to the Nintendo Switch, it is coming to PS5, PC, and mobile, so most people should still be able to play this. Now, there's been no official release date of the game yet. However, if you go on the PlayStation Store, this is listed to be coming out on December 5th. And honestly, I couldn't be more excited, as this could genuinely be my cozy game of the year. Now, I was lucky enough to be able to take part in the open beta, so I've played an hour or 2 of this already. And this could be the game that finally makes it back into my daily routine. As Infinity Nikki has a little bit of everything. First of all, you have an absolutely fantastic story with beautiful cutscenes, and it's even fully voice acted. But there's also a ton of essentially daily activities for you to do when you log in each and every day. And I love this mix between it being a classic open world RPG, but also being essentially a dress up game as well. The story sees you being picked as the chosen one to save this mysterious world after a dress hanging in your closet drags you into a brand new realm. But in order for you to save this world, you first need to find all of the miracle outfits to restore it to its full potential and rid the world of evil. So this means that not only are the outfits absolutely stunning, they also all have a purpose, as each outfit you can switch between has powers all of their own. Like, one of them will allow you to float, another one will be useful in combat-like situations, and there's even an outfit that allows you to shrink. This also definitely adopts elements of Breath of the Wild, with an open world that's absolutely stunning to explore and has so much things to see and do. Now, one thing that might make or break this game for you is the fact that it is free to play and has mechanics very similar to like Genshin and Honkai Star Rail, if you're familiar to those. And the way this works in Infinity Nikki is when you go out and do different quests and side quests, you'll be rewarded with some in-game currency, or of course you can pay money to get in-game currency, which you can then use to pull for a chance to get a really rare outfit. The thing that's been putting some people off is the idea that some of these outfits are going to be available for only a limited time, meaning that some people might feel like they've been left out if they weren't able to get them. To me though, the thing that's going to make or break this whole experience is how much free currency you get. So as long as players get rewarded for playing the game, I don't think it's going to be too much of an issue, but we'll only find out when it releases, and I'll be interested to see if December 5th is actually the release date. Next up, let's talk about Fields of Mistria, which is getting an update on November 18th. Now, I haven't really spoken much about Fields of Mistria on this channel, firstly because it's in early access, and secondly because we have no news if it's coming to the Nintendo Switch. But honestly, this is a game I have, I think, nearly 40 hours in so far, and something I've really been enjoying. If you're not aware, Fields of Mistria is a farming sim RPG and has some really unique elements that make it stand out to the likes of Stardew Valley, mainly the presence of a mainline story. So although it has all your usual farming sim stuff inside of it, it also focuses more heavily on the characters themselves, their dialogue, and one thing I really like is the focus on having dialogue between villagers and not just you. So for example, each Friday night you can go into the tavern and find every single villager there, all doing activities with one another. Like one week you'll find some people doing a book club, while others do D&D. There's even art classes as well. And you get to learn a lot about each of the characters and their relationships with each other with these activities. The only downside to Fields of Mistria so far is the fact that it is an incomplete game. As of right now, you can't finish the main storyline, you can't do romance with the characters, and although it feels polished, it is largely unfinished. But November 18th is the game's first major update. And so far we know this is going to include the ability to romance some of the villagers, increasing the progression cap from 4 hearts to 6 hearts, alongside additional NPC dialogue. The mines will have brand new enemies and new cosmetic drops. You'll also be able to work on the town a little bit more and increase its level, which I think means there's going to be some more mainline story as well. There's also going to be a skill cap increase, more customization and cosmetics, including home upgrades, and also a brand new festival. Now, although this is a big update, this is still an unfinished game. You still won't be able to complete the main storyline, marry other NPC villagers, let alone have kids with them, and there's still going to be a lot of other things missing. So once again, I say maybe don't rush into buying early access games, but if you already have it, then you're going to be able to put a bunch more hours into it very soon. And finally, on November 20th, we have the release of Luma Island. Now, I spoke about this a ton in my last video, so I'll just give you a quick recap. Now, this is a life and farming sim with a little bit of a difference, as it has a huge focus on professions, each of which has their own objectives and difficulty levels, ranging from easy professions like cooking and brewing, to harder professions such as archaeology and jewelry crafting. Now, I've only played the demo so far, but I'm really interested to see what the whole game looks like and see how much there is to explore in the main world itself, on top of all the quests that you need to do for your professions. but I really enjoy the fact that this is a game that you can play however you want to. Like, for example, if you find the mines too scary, they're not even something you need to go into. My plan so far is to play with someone else, and then I don't have to go into the mines, and I'll just send them in there instead. That's it for all of the cozy games that are coming out in the rest of 2024. Let me know in the comments down below which one you're the most excited for. And if you want to check out some incredible upcoming cozy games, click this video here.